Cats are one of the creatures in this world that people love to talk about and love to have. After all, cats can be very fun and sensitive creatures. Those that love to purr when you pet them and curl up on your lap in search of warmth and comfort. And there are cats that people have actually created through breeding techniques to make even better versions of cats. That's already a lot, to be honest with you. But what might surprise you even more is that there are cats that are born or bred and only appear once every 1,000 years. Here are 20 cats that are born only once every 1,000 years. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Now let's get started. Number 1. Raven. The last story is about a cat named Raven. Yes, and instead of meowing, he just says nevermore repeatedly. Am I joking? Who knows? Raven was a very special cat rescued by a woman named Marlena. When she and her husband brought Raven home, they noticed something was wrong with the cat. So they took him to the vet, who explained that Raven was partially paralyzed and couldn't move his 2 back legs. As a result, the vet said the cat should be put down, but Marlena refused and took Raven home to care for and love him. And sure enough, it was the right decision, as Marlena had a cat full of life, using the legs he still had to move around the house with unlimited energy. Sometimes, it was a bit challenging to care for the cat, but in the end, it was worth it to save his life. Number 2. Pixel. Now, you probably know what a pixel is. It's a very, very tiny part of a larger image. I bring this up because this cat is named Pixel, and it's a very fitting name due to the fact that it's the smallest cat in the world. But how small is it, you ask? Well, it's only 12.7 centimeters, 5 inches tall, which is truly a very tiny cat. And yet, the owner loves Pixel very much, even submitting the cat for the Guinness World Records. Some people claim there are certain health concerns to worry about, but the owner seems to believe that Pixel is a perfectly fine and healthy cat. The only real issue the owner has is that the cat is so small that she needs to keep everything closed and locked, otherwise the cat might escape. Number 3. Narnia. Now, I'm not talking about Aslan, though I admit he's a unique cat too. Instead, I'm talking about another two-faced cat, Narnia. This time, instead of literally having 2 faces, the cat has a line of color running down its face, making it look like it has 2 completely different sides. You have to admit, it's a striking image, so much so that the cat has become an online sensation, even being considered by some as one of the most beautiful cats due to its highly distinctive look. However, the truth is that Narnia is a chimera, meaning that in the womb, it fused with another embryo from its parents, resulting in its 2-faced appearance. Number 4. The Ukrainian Levkoy. The next breed is the Ukrainian Levkoy, a distinct-looking cat breed with inward folded ears and almost no fur. These cats are medium-sized, with a long body that appears both muscular and slender. And if you're thinking there's no way nature did this, you'd technically be right. It was a breeder who mixed hairless cats to create the breed. The good news is that this time, these Levkoys are quite affectionate and loving, forming very close bonds with their owners, perhaps as part of a long-term plan to kill them later in life. If they're left alone for too long without seeing anyone or hearing their owners, they will freak out. It's a unique cat, that's for sure. Number 5. Frankie and Louie. Now, if I told you the story of Frankie and Louie without any pictures, you might think they were just another pair of twin cats, but they're not, at least not in a basic sense. You see, Frankie and Louie were another pair of cats born with a defect, but in this case, the defect affected their entire face. If you're thinking they were a 2-faced cat, you'd be correct. Known as Janus cats, this mutation defect affects more cats than you might think. However, the catch is that these cats tend not to live very long. Frankie and Louie, however, were rare, and according to history, they lived for around 15 years. That's a very long life and proof of a very dedicated owner, someone willing to look beyond the 2-faced defect to care for and love these cats. Number 6. Scrappy, the color-changing cat. When it comes to certain pets, they have the ability to change color over time. Some creatures are born one color, and as time passes and their genes kick in, they change, similar to how humans go from brown or black hair to gray. But for the cat known as Scrappy, the story is different. You see, when his owner brought Scrappy home, he was completely black. Then 7 years later, something started happening to Scrappy, and as a result, he now looks like a cat with a marbled, shaded coat. His owner believes the cat has a very rare condition called vitiligo, something extremely uncommon in cats. But when you look at this cat, you have to admit that something caused him to go from a black fur coat to this. Number 7. Japanese bobtail. The Japanese bobtail is a cat that definitely catches your attention when you look at it, because from the front, it looks like a normal cat that can have a variety of colors. But if you look at it from behind, you'll notice that its tail doesn't look normal. Instead of a long, thin tail, it has a tail that honestly resembles that of a rabbit. Moreover, no two Japanese bobtails are the same. Each one is completely different, like a snowflake. This breed has been known in Japan for a long time, as it is native to the country, but now it is recognized worldwide due to people wanting to have one for themselves. And that's not surprising, considering it's a cat known for being affectionate and friendly, which must be a lie, right? Number 8. Clyde, the cyclops. Continuing with cats that have unique conditions, let's talk about Clyde, the cyclops, who, as you might have guessed, was a cat born with only one eye. Unfortunately, there is a lot of tragedy in this story. The mother of this kitten had to be taken to the vet for a C-section, which revealed that there would be many complications during birth. This was proven by Clyde, the cyclops, who was born with only one eye. The owner took a photo because they knew this was something very rare, but sadly, it was also the reason Clyde's life was so short. With this condition, the cat didn't live for very long. Number 9. Matilda, the alien cat. Well, they say the truth is out there, but if you take a look at the cat known as Matilda, you'll quickly realize she has something that grabs attention. Yes, I'm talking about her eyes, which are completely black and bulging, making her look like an alien. The invasion has begun. Run for your lives. Actually, don't run, because that would mean you wouldn't watch the rest of the video. Let's see how far this goes. Jokes aside, there's a tragedy behind this cat. Matilda has a genetic eye disorder that caused her eyes to enlarge, and now she is blind. Her owners wrote about it on Instagram, but she didn't always have those alien-like eyes. She was born and adopted by her owners and was fine at first, but over time, her eyes started changing, becoming what you see now. So, even though she has a unique appearance, it came at a cost. Number 10. The perfect twin cats. This one isn't exactly scary, but it is a bit revealing in terms of how genetics work. Because if you look at Iris and Abyss, you'll realize that they are the very definition of identical twins. Yes, we've seen many cats that might look alike for one reason or another, but this one is quite different, mainly because both cats have heterochromatic eyes, meaning each eye is a different color, and both have the exact same pattern of this condition, which is extremely rare. When they pose the same way, you probably can't tell them apart, which is kind of eerie. Apparently, these cats found their human owner when they were just a few months old, wandering around St. Petersburg, Florida. The relationship they built eventually turned into a glamorous one, as their owner isn't shy about taking pictures of them and posting them online. I'd bet they get a lot of attention because of how they look and how identical they seem. Number 11. The largest cat of all time. Imagine a cat right now. It could be one you recently saw, one you own, or even one that tried to kill you in your sleep last night, because they are completely psychotic. Now, with that image in mind, how long is your cat? That's a weird question, right? Because most people don't actually know their cat's length, and honestly, they don't care. Most cats measure less than a meter when fully grown, making them the perfect size for a pet. However, when it comes to this cat, it's impossible not to notice how long she is, because she's massive. This is a 2-year-old Maine Coon from Italy that was officially recorded in the Guinness Book of World Records as being 1.19 meters long. For comparison, that's about the size of a baseball bat. As you can see in the photo, The cat is so big that her owner has to hold her with both hands. The cat's owners always knew she was special, saying that she was a little shy, and when people saw her they were very surprised. But to them, she was a small, or maybe big, gift, and they take very good care of this gift, which includes feeding her lots of food and even putting her in a stroller to walk around the city, which naturally draws a lot of attention because it's quite unusual. Would you feel comfortable having such a big cat, or do you prefer them small and portable? Tell me everything in the comments below. Number 12. The weird cat. Now, here's a cat that was actually promoted by an actor of all people, Michael Rappaport. One day, he recorded a video of a cat named Wilfred, who was, well, let's just say, strange. In the video, Rappaport starts calling for his mother, who's at home, and begins describing the cat in various ways, including how weird he looks and so on. However, it turns out that the video wasn't exactly what it seemed. Apparently, Rappaport made the video and then dubbed over it with his comedy routine, where he jokes about the cat and points out that it looks like a grandma and other things like that. It's an interesting magic trick, and the video really went viral for some obvious reasons. It's also quite hilarious, and I watch it from time to time for a little boost. Now, I won't deny that the cat does look strange. Just look at how its eyes don't line up when it stares forward. And that crooked chin, well, that doesn't help either. Apparently, though, Wilfred is a calm cat and not as agitated as his appearance suggests. The cat's owner claims that Wilfred even joins her on fun trips to the pub with her friends. So yeah, this is one of those rare cases where reality is stranger than fiction, because the cat really doesn't look normal, but still, the owner doesn't seem to care one bit. And if they don't care, why should anyone else? Number 13. Hamilton. Jay Stowe's hipster cat is not just a uniquely looking feline, but also one that is famous on Instagram, and all the money these two make from fame goes to the animal shelter that brought them together. And that's actually true. Jay wanted a new cat, so he went to a shelter and picked one, which he named Hamilton. But the issue at first was that Hamilton didn't adapt well to Jay, as Hamilton was a feral cat, meaning he hadn't had much contact with humans. The cat lived in Jay's bathroom and closet for quite some time. It took about a month for Hamilton to start warming up to Jay, and that's when he started taking pictures and created an Instagram account for his cat. He probably still lives with his mom, but that's another story. But if you need more proof that Jay likely leads a lonely and sad life, he actually learned how to do professional photo shoots just for his cat, so that the cat would get the best online reactions. He even stated that when the cat gets excited and wants to play, his pupils dilate a lot, and Jay calls it Puss in Boots eyes. Those are usually the most popular photos, and he knows exactly how to move his hand to get his cat excited and want to pounce on it. After the duo's fame exploded, Jay organized a fundraiser to donate the Instagram account to a shelter that could use the popularity to help cats get adopted. At least that's a worthy cause. Number 14. Sphinxy Bob and Bamb Bob. As previously mentioned, there are people in the world trying to do something a little different with cats than you might expect, mainly attempting to create new cat breeds for people to buy. Often they take cats that are not natural partners and breed offspring that will have a good mix of their parents' genes to create something truly special and unique. Oh, and also expensive. One example of this is that in 2018, a woman in the United States created 2 new breeds through the Sphinxy Bob and the Bamb Bob, and as you can see, these are some very unique-looking cats, for lack of a better word. As such, she wants her new breeds to be recognized by a small and relatively irrelevant cat breed registry called the Rare and Exotic Feline Registry, or REFER if you prefer. If you're wondering why she didn't choose the main registry, well, apparently, it's because they don't accept these breeds due to health concerns. The owner claims she didn't create these breeds for financial profit, but rather for her own enjoyment and to bring new cat breeds into the world. Well, breaking the illusion here, this is kind of problematic. Of course, animal breeding of this nature happens on a much larger scale than most people realize. But the issue is that there are ethical concerns here that need to be addressed and are often simply ignored. This woman is a prime example of that. She created a new set of cat species for her own benefit, not for the cat's well-being, let alone for the well-being of animals in general. She had no real idea whether her breeding plan would work or what the outcomes would be. For all she knew, she could have created 2 cats with diseases and health problems that would lead to a short life. But she did it because she wanted the pleasure and recognition of knowing that she was the one who did it first. That's just not cool. Number 15. The oldest cat. Now, let's be honest for a moment. When we adopt a pet while we're young, the last thing we think about is its death. We want our pets to be with us forever, no matter what they are, and when they die, it really hurts because we've had them for many years. This brings me to the case of a cat known as Lucy, who made her owners very happy by living such a long life. But how long did she live? Well, in 2011, it was claimed that she was 39 years old. The owner, Bill Thomas, inherited Lucy when his wife's godmother, Maria, passed away in 1999, and he didn't realize the cat's age until an elderly aunt came to visit and shared memories of Lucy dating back to 1972. Apparently, the aunt saw the cat and couldn't believe her own eyes. She remembered Lucy running around Maria's fish and chip shop as a kitten in 1972, and they knew the cat was old, but they never imagined she was that old. So they took Lucy to the vet, but although the veterinarian admitted the cat was elderly, they couldn't determine her exact age. You might also think that due to her age, she acted like she was on the verge of death, but she wasn't. She was partially deaf, but other than that, she was very active, which included hunting mice without any issues. At the time, the oldest recorded cat was 38 years old, so this shows that if you take good care of a pet, it might live longer than you expect, or even longer than you. Number 16. Garfield, the fat cat. This is ironic for several reasons because it's the real story of a cat named Garfield, a real cat named Garfield, who loves eating so much that he became the fattest cat in the world. Now, of course, we've all seen big cats just like we've seen big dogs, but Garfield is a bit different because Garfield weighs 18 kilograms. Apparently, the orange and white furred cat was taken to an animal shelter and surprised veterinarians with his impressive girth. He was the fattest cat they had ever seen, and their first reaction was, of course, astonishment. Even the team called to take care of Garfield found it strange to see a cat like that. So they also made sure to warn people that having a cat of this size is not a good thing. People often think that an obese animal is not in physical danger, but nothing could be further from the truth. Now, to be fair, Garfield seemed to be very healthy, but that is the exception, not the rule. Not too different from a human, when a cat or another pet overeats, it can affect its basic functions, such as mobility, how they eat, and much more. The veterinarians also noted that it was recommended for Garfield to lose 9 kilograms, which is literally half of his body weight. In short, take good care of your pets, and for Garfield's owner, stop feeding him lasagna. Number 17. The six-legged cat. Unfortunately, there are times when animals are born with deformities that are a bit more severe than just missing a nasal bone. They can have deformities so extreme that they are born without some of their limbs. But the opposite can also be true, as in the case of Henrietta, the tabby cat, who was born with 6 legs. This ultra-rare condition is called polymelia, which means Henrietta has an extra set of legs. It can occur in both humans and animals. It's something to think about, kind of scary, because it's so rare. I'm not entirely sure how this happened with cats like Henrietta, but the belief is that there was a twin in the mother cat's womb, and the 2 kittens fused during pregnancy, leaving Henrietta with an extra set of legs. To give more context on how rare this condition is, not only was Henrietta the only cat in the UK at the time of her birth to have this condition, but there are no recorded cases of a cat like this in the entire history of the UK. Now, you might think that the extra legs would be an obstacle for her, but apparently they weren't. Her owners actually said that she is a lovely cat with a wonderful personality and is very affectionate despite this. However, the owners decided it would be best for Henrietta not to have those extra legs, and as a result, she underwent surgery to have them removed. Number 18. Monty the Magnificent. Now that I've made you endure the last cat, which wasn't exactly easy on the eyes, let's take a look at one that is pleasant to look at and apparently very popular online. Meet Monty the Magnificent, a cat that, if you look closely at its face, you'll notice something is a little different. Can you guess what it is? The answer is that he's missing a bone in his face, the nasal bone to be precise. Rescued from a shelter in Copenhagen, Denmark, at the age of 3, Monty was born without a nasal bridge. But while this chromosomal anomaly makes him sneeze quite a bit, he is healthy and breathes normally. Monty has 2 owners, a lovely couple, and they not only love their cat, but are also trying to use his condition to raise awareness about it. As mentioned before, there are people who want cute cats, so a deformity is not exactly attractive to anyone. Not having a bone in the nasal bridge can be a deterrent that leads to a cat not getting adopted. They promote Monty online, where he has many followers, to show that just because he might be a little different doesn't mean he isn't beautiful and fun to own. Fast forward a bit, and Monty the Magnificent is now a global ambassador for different cats and is constantly raising awareness about adopting cats like him. So, if you ever decide to adopt one, think of Monty and see where that might take you. Number 19. Now imagine that you are someone who wants to have a cat. I don't know why, because they are annoying, demonic, and psychotic creatures, but what would some of your preferences be? Would you want a big cat that could suffocate you in your sleep? Maybe a small cat that would scratch your eyes out? What kind of fur do you prefer? Do you want a cat with a strong personality, or a tamer one that might warm up to you over time and possibly not kill you in your sleep? And most importantly, how cute do you want your cat to be? For that last question, if you said very cute, you might not want this one, because it's not exactly what you might expect. This cat is known as the bald Sphinx and comes from Switzerland. When people first started seeing pictures of this cat, a debate began about whether it was the ugliest cat in the entire world. I can't really say whether it is or not, since I don't know every cat in the world and really don't want to, but what I can say is that it is definitely a cat that would make its owner worthy of the title Love is Blind. If you look at the wrinkles this cat has and how it makes certain expressions, it simply looks like pure evil, because it is. Well, the irony here is that the cat does in fact have an owner, and this owner truly loves it, claiming that the cat has a very good temperament. This proves another point in our world. Maybe you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. That said, I'm sure many of you wouldn't be interested in a cat like this, because it's simply terrifying, and that evil expression on its face reflects the evil that comes from its heart. Number 20. Green Dragon Cat. Now I'll admit this one is kind of cheating, because this is not a cat that was born. It was actually created. If you search for Green Dragon Cat on Google, you won't find a cat species by that name. Instead, you'll likely find this cat, which was made in a pet salon. Yes, it's true, there's a pet salon that takes animals like cats and dogs and transforms them in ways you wouldn't believe. In this case, they took a cat and made it look like a dragon. More specifically, it was a gray-furred cat known as Fascia that underwent this process, and the transformation clearly took time, but the result is quite unique. While this might be cool for some of us, because who wouldn't want to see their cat looking like a dragon just for fun? It should also be noted that some people have protested against this for very valid reasons. They argue that this can have potentially fatal consequences, and animals may become stressed from being restrained while the process is happening. Now, cats are very meticulous creatures that constantly groom themselves, removing any substances from their fur to stay clean. Having an unwanted substance on their fur could possibly lead them to ingest the dye. It's true that if not done correctly, a pet could get sick or even die during the process. The person running the salon claimed that the dyes and other materials used were not harmful to the animals, but no one can ever really be 100% sure about that, can they? Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed our content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Don't forget to check out other interesting content appearing on your screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video. See you next time.